But your Social Security, your annuity, and your whole life, if you can get those three combined to equal your minimum expenses, you're going to be in a good spot. So I want to touch on these two. So with an annuity, and there's lots of different ways to go about this. Again, if you already built up a nest egg of money with other investments, this could potentially be, and I emphasize potentially be, a good route to go. So with an annuity, the powerful thing with annuities is, in terms of funding it, is if you have other qualified accounts, you can actually roll over all of it or a portion of it over to an annuity. There's no taxes and penalties for doing that. So hypothetically speaking, if you had $300,000 in a traditional, not a Roth, a traditional IRA, and you're like, you know what, outside of the IRA, I have another $2 million in investable, or in investments and whatnot. Hypothetically, you could say, okay, you know what, I want to take $300,000 of my market-based portfolio and I want to roll it over to an annuity to grant myself some peace of mind, to get some guaranteed income. Now, depending on your age, and there's many factors, that $300,000 going into the annuity, the insurance carrier might come out and say, hey, based on that $300,000, we're going to guarantee you 7% a year on that. So my math's a little off right now. 7% of $300,000 would be $21,000 a year, and that's pretty reasonable. Like a 7% payout factor, even 6% if you want to be a little bit more conservative, is pretty reasonable for an annuity. So you might roll over 300 and get a guaranteed income stream of 21,000, and then with your Social Security, you know, let's just say, just to keep it simplistic, let's say that was another 21,000. It's like you've got 42,000 right there, and then with the whole life insurance policy, I'll draw an arrow over here, that's another bucket of money where you can't roll over money directly into it, but if you over time added that into your portfolio, it's a guaranteed asset, so it's not correlated to the market. It's going to go up every single year regardless of what the markets are doing. But the money that you build up in cash value, that's something you have access to during your retirement. So going back to the whole premise of a down year, let's say your whole life policy had $30,000 in it for cash value. Well, if there's a down year and you need $50,000 to meet your minimum living expenses, instead of touching these other layers of the cake, you can come over to your guaranteed income streams and go, okay, I'm getting 42 here, 42,000 from my Social Security and my annuity. I have 30,000 in my cash value. You could borrow out another, let's say, $8,000. Now you're at your $50,000 of base, assuming that's what your base living expenses are. Like assuming your minimum expenses were $50,000. Now you know, and you have that peace of mind, like, okay, I have enough guaranteed income coming in to live, to do what I need to do. I don't have to touch the other layers of the cake. I don't have to touch my other market-based investments. I don't have to touch my safe money even. If I don't want to, my cash, my emergency fund, I don't have to touch any of that, but I can utilize these assets here to provide enough money to live comfortably and to have that peace of mind, like, okay, I'm going to have enough money, number one, to meet my minimum expenses without depleting my market-based investments while they're down. I can leave my emergency fund intact. And then on top of that, you know, with these guaranteed income streams, they last for life. So until you die, you're going to be getting this money every single month.